to the conversation on Road Dog Trucking Radio's Road Dog Live with host K.C. Phillips.
Road Dog Trucking News Updates are brought to you by Crete Carrier. Welcome back into Road Dog Live. This is the Friday free-for-all, Friday of National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. One of our good friends of the program is Desiree Wood, and we'll be looking to bring her on, talking a little bit about some good news she's got coming up. Let's get to Steen in California. Steen, welcome in. Well, there goes Steen. All right. Midnight Rider in Illinois is next. Hey, Midnight Rider, what's up?
I got a guess for Scribbles. She's hanging out with Waldo in the bar and having drinks with their last and everybody's trying to find them.
That's right. Yeah. There's no telling.
The rumor is the raid at Mar-a-Lago turned up nothing because Trump emailed all the evidence to Hillary Clinton.
Oh, you mean she didn't already have it? I guess you're right, man. Who knows? There are so many rumors floating around these days. And you know what? It's hit or miss what sticks and what does not. One thing that has been sticking around, though, is our good friend Desiree Wood, and she is the president of Real Women in Trucking. Desiree, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
All right. Did I hang up on you?
I think I got hung up on, and then the gal just called me back. So it's okay. I was wondering. I was just about to text you.
So sorry about that. Yeah, it's great to have you on. It's been a long time. I think the last time I saw you was in Louisville a couple years back, I guess, before COVID.
Yeah, you signed our petition in Dallas at the GATS, and then they didn't have GATS anymore.
That's right. Okay, it was GATS.
Yeah, and we went to Max this year for the first time from the show's coming back. But yeah, they're not going to do the Dallas show anymore, so we'll see you in Louisville.
Yeah, well, we'll be looking forward to that for sure. Folks, Desiree Wood is the president of Real Women in Trucking. Can you share a little bit about the history of your organization, Desiree, why you thought it was important to start it?
Well, we formed Real Women in Trucking in 2010 as a protest group because we didn't really feel like we were being heard. Some of the issues for women, especially new students that were entering, being sexually assaulted and harassed during training. And there was no resource that was hearing us. In fact, they were actively being silenced. So we went ahead and started our own group. We got our IRS determination letter in 2013. We went to Washington, D.C. We've been there several times as a result of the petition we delivered during the FMCSA listening session in 2019. And we've been part of a lot of conversations since then to try to solve this problem. The recently formed Women of Trucking Advisory Board. We have a few members on there. I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. next week. So we're still working really hard to expose this issue, solve the problem. And we have found that other industry sectors under the Department of Transportation have the identical same problem in training.
Oh, wow.
That is where the women are the most vulnerable. Women in maritime, they've had congressional hearings, they've got legislation, but they still have a bad problem. So everything that they've done, they're so far ahead of trucking, they still have a bad sexual assault problem. So we just have a lot of work to do in this area. I've become an expert witness in some cases involving sexual assault and pregnancy discrimination of women drivers. Since I last saw you, we have $5 million landmark case in Jane Doe versus CRST. But there's many more cases going on, and women that I deal with on a weekly basis that have a variety of issues they're encountering in their first 3 or 4 months in this industry, and they are just like, I don't know what to do, nobody can help me. And now I have a CDL and I love driving, but I'm stuck. I'm in this place where not very many people will hire me, and the ones that will have predators that I have to drive with, whether it's a co-driver or a trainer, or it could just be somebody that is just really violent with them or disrespectful. So still a lot of problems there. And it was about that time in 2019 when we formed TIER, because one of the things that happens to women and men is if they have issues, not just in training, but it could be from a lease purchase truck. It could be a little spat with their dispatcher or something. They will come and take the truck away from them and leave them. So we have been aware of this. I've been aware of it. I've been left behind myself. Sure. So we formed Truckers Emergency Assistance Responders, and that's so now I'm running both organizations along with our board. Idella Hansen is the vice president, and Michelle Scolari, who works for Wanship. We run TIER is the acronym for the organization, and then our other board, we've got, like, you probably know so many of our board members: Brita Nowak, Jess Graham. Idella Hansen has just moved over to TIER from there.
Oh, awesome.
We've got like 15 board members now. Natalie Jaspadia. We've got a really great team over there.
Desiree Wood is the president of Real Women in Trucking, and she started TIER. It's Truckers Emergency Assistance Responders. And I wonder, are you looking for members? Is this something where people listening in could assist you in some way?
Well, what TIER does, so Real Women in Trucking is a 501c6 trade association, so it's a membership organization. But
Okay.
TIER is actually a 501c3 charity, so we take donations. And we have been supported during the pandemic. It was frightening because we just formed, and then the pandemic shut everything down, so not very many people knew existed. But we started writing about, the drivers not having PPE and kind of getting caught in the crosshairs of everything shutting down, which led to some product donations from Transfix, Stuckey's, DDC FPO, which is a back office business for trucking. They cash donations and product donations that allowed us to go to truck stops and give out PPE to drivers. So I personally, from like March 2020 to September 2020, I was at the Las Vegas TA passing out PPE. We had members in Brooklyn, in Iowa, I went to Florida to do it. We did it in Utah. So we had this product going out to the drivers to kind of introduce TIER. But mostly what we were set up to do was help drivers that were stranded, abandoned, from carrier abandonment. So we get a lot of referrals from St. Christopher's Fund, because drivers are abandoned. They contact them, and they only help drivers that are having a medical issue.
Sure.
So we get a lot of referrals from them, and then sometimes we get people that fill out an application for assistance from us, and they actually have a medical issue, and they don't even know about St. Christopher's Fund. So we do a lot of referrals back and forth. We have had some large law firms give us what they call a Cypre award, where they have like a class action lawsuit. For an example, the big Navistar lawsuit that was settled. Sometimes they cannot get a hold of all of the people that were in the class action. So the money sits in the bank for a little bit of time, and then they need to find a charity that is that would serve those kinds of drivers that were abandoned because of the truck engine. And so they give us a donation, and that's what's helped us being able to help drivers.
Yeah, that's really wonderful that they are able to do that. And boy, I tell you, it's such an important charity that you have organized and you're doing every day. I will say this, I've heard from many drivers that have been on the short end of that stick whenever the company decides it's time to shut down operations, and many times the drivers don't get any other notice than a message coming across the Qualcomm to park the truck, and they turn the fuel cards off and you're stranded. So TIER comes in and helps those people. How best to get in touch with you or a representative of TIER if somebody finds themselves in that spot?
Well, we do have a website, and it is www.cdltear.org, and there's an application for assistance on there. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I think we have a YouTube now. But everybody does have to fill out an application, and I think a lot of us remember the era of shutdown that left a lot of drivers stranded. We have mostly dealt with individuals that have, for instance, I had a lady just this week who her appendix burst, and she had to take time off for, she was put in the hospital in an emergency, and the company came and took away her lease purchase truck from her and told her to reapply. So they basically left her homeless, jobless, and with just out of the hospital with a ruptured appendix, and the doctor said, you can't go anywhere for 2 weeks. Well, this happened in Georgia, but the terminal she was hired out of is in Salt Lake City. So without any money, she contacted us. We had her flown to Salt Lake City. I personally met her there. We got a jump start with AAA on her vehicle and got her the money the tags were expired on the vehicle, gave her the money to, register it, and then the gas money to get home. That was kind of a big case, but most of the time it's somebody that just needs a couple motel nights and maybe a bus ride home, or they have a dog. That's what makes it complicated. When they have a dog or a large refrigerator or something, and they got to get a lot of stuff, and a lot of drivers don't have a credit card. It's kind of can be a logistical challenge sometimes, depending.
Sure.
We've had people that got like 5 dogs in the truck.
Oh my
refrigerator. And they're from Montana, but they live in Alabama. And
yeah.
There's been some times we're like, how do we do this?
Yeah, wow. Well, I tell you, I can't think of a better week to introduce TIER, and sorry that we haven't done this sooner, Desiree, but I just heard about it through Facebook, and I think you're doing great work. But drivers are appreciated, and sometimes when they're feeling the least appreciated, like when they have this type of situation happen, you guys can step in and say, hey, you have support and you have value, and it's so very important, the charity you're providing.
Thank you. I do want to give a shout out to Racetrack. They contacted us and said, we really want to be involved during Truck Driver Appreciation Month. We want to make a donation to truckers, emergency assistance responders, but we also want to do more than just that. So they have some specials for truck drivers. They were giving out free hot dogs. They had one location that was doing massages in Forest Park, Georgia. I think that passed, but I learned through that. There's a flyer on our Facebook page about it, some of the other things they were doing for Truck Driver Appreciation Week. But they had some, what they call extended diesel offering locations, where they are putting in a little bit of truck parking, which we all love to hear about. And they have a driver lounge. They don't have showers or laundry, but I just want drivers to know we're always happy when there's new players in the game for truck parking. Wherever we can park, we love the opportunity to, be a little bit in a different place than some of the big chains. So check out those Racetrack extended diesel offering locations if you know them. They're mostly in Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky.
Gotcha. Folks, if you guys want to participate and help Desiree in this effort, I would encourage you to go to cdltear.org CDLTEAR. That's CDLTEAR.org. Desiree, I got to jump out of the way for a quick timeout, but thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
We'll talk soon. All righty. If you guys want to jump in, that's a wonderful charity. When truckers get stranded, you can go on to CDLTear.org and you can fill out an application and get some help when you most need it. I guess a question for you becomes, have you ever been stranded like that? Have you ever been left out in the cold and needed some help? How'd you get home? We can discuss that if you like. It's a Friday free-for-all, though, so open phones, open forum. We can discuss whatever is on your mind. We've talked about rumors in trucking. We've talked about high-speed rail, the 12-lane superhighway from Mexico to Canada. What other rumors are out there? Redesigns of semi-trucks. How would you change